Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and a happy Precision Race Night to you all. Welcome to the Dre Broadcasting Network as we bring you live coverage from Talladega Superspeedway. The Precision Racing League brings you the Big D's Transport 250, part of the Precision Racing League United Armed Services Oval Series. I am your commentator, Sean Zulu, and I am joined by my good friend and producer, Dave. Hey, Billy, how are you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Sean?
I am doing good too, thank you. Well, Dave, like I said, tonight we are racing here at Talladega. We'll start off by telling us a little bit about tonight's race.
Well, as you said, we are at Talladega Super Speedway here for the Big D's Transport 250. Taking a look at the weather, looks like they got about a 79-degree air temperature, but the track is right about 90 degrees with the wind east at 6 miles an hour under mostly cloudy conditions.
And as usual, these guys do have a 60% fuel limit. That is 60%, so that means they do have to pit at least once in order to be able to make it all the way, and it is a 95 lap race, so those pit stops should really spread out the field when it comes down to it. Just a recap from last week at the Wildfire Awareness. 130 by Colton Lane, we had 66 of Charles Paradis bring it home. 95 of Jeffrey Ford came out in second place. The 28 of Eric Roberts came out in third place. The 22 of Jack Price in fourth. The 3 of Dale Robertson came out in 5th place, and all these drivers: Charles Paradis from Ryan Pandiso Motorsports, the 95 Ford from Ford Lane Motorsports, Eric Roberts from Ironic Sim Racing, the 22 Jack Price, and the 3 of Dale Robertson teammates from Voltage Racing finishing 4th and 5th place last week there at Gateway. And a few incidents that we had: 654 of Josh Conger did put on a hard fight, but ended up getting wrecked out with 35 laps to go after making contact with the 11 of Brandon Massey. The 14 of Paul D. Johnson takes flight on air, but was still able to finish the race. The 24 of Corey Blevins had an early night, unfortunately. Austin Moore, as well, was involved in the incident with the 24 of Corey Blevins. The 95 of Jeffrey Ford tried to hold off 66 of Charles Paradis, but was not able to, but ended up giving it up for the second place position. And that 40 of Groskov stayed out and dropped like a rock heavily, but still had a good finishing position and put on a hard fight until the end. In our current season standings, we still have the 24 of Corey Blevins, no change from Flat Out Motorsports. He has been the season standings leader for the past 5 races. The 7 of Dallas Pataska is still in second place as well from Ryan Pandisio Motorsports. The 22 of Jack Price, still in third place from Voltage Racing. So the top 3 have not changed ever since last week's race at Gateway. And the 66 of Charles Paradis from Turn Left Racing in the top, new to the top 5. The 11 of Brandon Massey, the Screaming Eagles, is 5th place in points. And actually, interestingly enough, we have 1 point separating the 4th place driver, 5th and 6th. And namely, that's Charles Paradis, Brandon Massey, and Jeffrey Ford, all separated by 1 point. So this race is going to pretty much spread them out, or at least try to. And Dave, we are currently under qualifying, and so far on the pole is a 5 of Jason Ashby. Whoa, he just got knocked off by the 27 of Danny Duchesne. Let's try and focus on one of the drivers and watch them qualify. Let's focus on the 11 of Massey. And this is the first lap of the 11 of Brennan Massey. Right now he is right in that middle lane. It's just pretty much a warm-up lap. The idea right now is to put as little input in the wheel to scrub the tires less, which means less friction plus more speed, or equals more speed. And right now he does go all the way down to that yellow line to hug it. He's drifting in between the yellow line and the white line, just pretty much being smooth. And exiting turn 2, he will let it roll out of the turn into the middle lane. Once again, less wheel input, more speed. He does ride that middle lane, trying his best to be as smooth as he can. Entering turn 3, he will drop it down to that yellow line and hover in between the yellow line and the white line above. Exit of turn 4, he lets it roll out into the middle lane, and then let's see what he does and try oval. He points his nose towards that yellow line, but is trying to stay away from those bumps to try and avoid losing some speed, and he will cross the start-finish line, and that does give him a 53.188, placing him in 15th position. And currently on the pole is a 13 of Jean-Francois, so the 27 of Dan Duchesne was bumped all the way down to 5th place. We have 5 seconds remaining until qualifying ends. Oh man, Dave, the pole just keeps changing. The 66 of Charles Perez just knocked the 13 of Jean-Francois down into 2nd place. So as we are speaking, we keep having new leaders.
Yeah, most definitely these drivers definitely put down some good lap times here, but as we know, with this being Talladega Super Speedway plate racing, restrictor plate racing, these guys are going to have to rely on that draft as these guys travel back through the field here.
And once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Big D's Transport 250 by Paul D. Johnson, who is one of the drivers in here. He's the 14. Let's see if he's actually racing. Yes, he is in here in the 14 car. And this race is part of the Precision Racing League United Armed Services Oval Series by the 092 of Dean Stone. Well, we have advanced into gridding mode, so we will give these guys a few seconds. Actually, I'll start right now. We have the 66 of Charles Paradis on the pole, the 13 of Jean-Francois in 2nd place, the 21 of Trevor White in 3rd place, starting 2nd place on the bottom lane. That 45 of Eddie Hawks in 4th place, 2nd place on the outside. That 3 of Dale Robertson starting in 5th place, running at the top 5. That 27 of Danny Duchesne in 6th. The 5 of Jason Ashby 7th. The 7 of Dallas Pataska 8th. The 8 of Steven Aguiar in 9th. The 6 of Steven Mattox in 10th place. 55 Karsten Quint 11th. The 60 of Colton Lane in 12th. The 911 of John LaBeouf in 13th place. The 14 of Paul D. Johnson, tonight's race sponsor for the Big D's Transport 250, starting in 14th place. 59 of David White in 15th. The 4 of Sammy Holmes in 16th. 11 of Brandon Massey, 17th. And the last car to qualify being the 24 of Corey Blevins, our current season standings leader, and that he is starting in 18th. Being the first car not to qualify, the 18 of Justin Michael in 19th. The 18 of Travis Browder, his teammate behind him, in 20th. The 1 of James O'Brien, last season's champion, in 21st. The 16 of Curtis Aho, starting in 22nd. 654 Josh Conger, the fastest driver I know here this series, in 23rd. The 22 of Jack Price, 24th. The 40 of Aaron Groskov, 25th. The 28 of Eric Roberts, 26th. The 41 of Chris Perez, 27th. The 78 of Ronald McManus in 28th. The 10 of Lance Marsh in 29th. And the 9 of Austin Moore in 30th. So we do have a 30 car field tonight, as we are being led by the 66 of Charles Paradis. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is a 95 lap race. So these guys do have that in mind, and they do have to pit at least once because they have a 60% fuel limit. So that is going to throw quite the loophole in these guys' strategies and driving styles as well. As they do enter turn 3, these guys getting bunched up nice and tight, going green for the first time this time by. So Dave, do us the honor of bring us green for the first time, please.
Well, as we are keeping an eye on that pace car as they come out of turn number 4, Charles Paradis keeping them bunched up at pace speed. Pace car off on the pit road. They keep it at pace speed coming through the dogleg, waiting for that green flag to fly. You have Charles Paradis on the inside, Jean-Francois Champagne on the outside. We're waiting on that green flag. The green flag flies. Charles Paradis gets hard on that throttle, but the 13 of Jean-Francois Champagne saw it coming.
And that's 21 of Trevor White and the 45 of Eddie Hawks, both caught sleeping, but right now they are trying to catch up to the 6 of Charles Paradis and the 13 of Jean-Francois to start pushing, as that 13 of Jean-Francois does miss a shift and ends up falling short, but he does have the 45 of Eddie Hawks to the rescue to give him some life. That 45 of Eddie Hawks going to jump down to that bottom lane, leaves the 13 of Jean-Francois out to dry on the outside, but the 27 of Dan Duchesne is going to take over for the 45 of Eddie Hawks. And looking a little bit further back in the pack, we do have some guys trying their best to leave the pack. That's the 28 of Eric Roberts, who's starting to lead what seems to be a second pack, being pushed by the 40 of Aaron R. Groskov. And in line behind them, they do have the 9 of Austin Moore, 41 of Chris Perez, and the 10 of Lance Marsh. And Dave, these guys do not have any backup cars, so they're just trying to play smart, trying their best to be able to have enough time to react if anything were to happen.
Well, most definitely, Sean, we do have a 95 lap race here, so they've got some time. They realize that here is it looks like we're mostly single or double file here. We got some guys kind of holding back there towards the back of the field, but for the most part, these guys are just riding. Oh, we do have a wreck on the field.
Big wreck, that was in turn 3. That didn't involve the 24 of Corey Blevins, the 16 of Curtis Aho was involved. The 4 of Sammy Holmes got a piece of that as well. Let's go back and focus on the 24 of Corey Blevins on replay.
It just looks like he got up into the wall, had nowhere to go, but he did get a little bit of airtime out of that, as a few other cars were involved.
Yeah, that was very, very unfortunate for him, and you said he got airtime, and the 16 of Curtis Aho did get underneath him when he got that serious air. He just pretty much went underneath him. And going back to the race lead, we do have the 13 of Jean-Francois being shown as our new race leader behind the pace car, 6 of Charles Paradis in second place. And going down to pit road, we do have the 24 of Corey Blevins trying to get some damage fixed. And Dave, this being only lap number 3 of a 95 lap race, these guys just started, so most of them will decide to stay out because tires shouldn't be a problem too much.
Yeah, most definitely. I think most of these guys are going to stay out. They're still pretty good on fuel. We may see a couple come in and just try to get a little extra fuel there, but as they go right past pit road, it looks like a few of them are going to come in. We see Stephen Maddox coming in, Jason Ashby, Stephen Aguiar, Sammy Holmes, Justin Michael, Travis Browder, and a few others. Looks like they're already starting to think of fuel strategy here at Talladega.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. And also for most of these guys, it would be their strategy to try and get further back in the field so they can, be like the 28 of Eric Roberts, who was creating a second pack of his own, pulling away from the first pack, or yeah, creating quite the gap in between them so they could have some time to react, to slam on those brakes and not have to worry about being hit from behind if anything would happen in front of them. That position of Jean-Francois does stay out, like you pointed out, and right now he is scrubbing those tires, getting some heat in them to try and get a good restart the next time. The 24 of Corey Blevins still down pit road, getting that damage fixed. That car is not pretty. That's very unfortunate.
Well, we did see it going down on the pit road. He was smoking really heavily, so he does got some motor damage in that machine of his, so he may be down there for a little while trying to bang out that damage.
Oh, absolutely. And so is the 40 of Aaron Groskov. Heavy damage right down pit road as well. And the 78 of Ronald McManus. Oh, Ronald looks like he's got a very, very clean car. Good looking. And he is being shown 3 laps down. And that 24 of Corey Blevins having some bad luck from last week's race at Gateway. He did have an early night. And right now it looks like his the right side was up. They put some right side tires on it. So it looks like the pit crew is now at work trying to beat it out.
Yeah, most definitely here, but I mean, this is Talladega. We are going to see it. Probably before the end of the night, we're going to see the big one. As we do have had a 29 car field here starting for this race. We currently have 26 cars on the lead lap. As you said, we have the 40 of Aaron Groskopf and the 24 of Corey Blevins down on pit road.
And these drivers are still pacing at 2 to green. So let's try and get a race interview in with the drivers that we can interview. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we do have the 87 of Justin Michael up here with us. Get a cup there, bud.
Hey, Sean, how are you?
Good. How are you, buddy?
Good.
Well, Justin, we noticed you were the first car to not put down a qualifying time, starting back there in 19th place, and you have moved up about 4 spots into 15th place. Well, tell us about what's on your mind, buddy.
Well, we're about to pit again and go to the very, very back. Me and Travis are just going to click off some laps in the back, hopefully miss all the big wrecks, and then work our way forward the last half of the race.
Oh, copy that. And Justin, you guys do have a 60% fuel limit. Do you have any strategy in mind?
Not yet. I actually don't know what that'll go on the tank, or how many laps that'll go. I think it's like 22.5. So, I don't know yet. We'll see what happens.
Oh, 10-4. And when it does come down to it, Justin, are you and Travis gonna try and pit alone, short pit, or go in as a pack? Because we do know pit road gets very busy and dangerous on pit entry with the whole pack.
Yeah, I mean, we'll try to pit with a smaller pack, but you got to go in with at least 3 or 4 cars.
Oh, 10-4, buddy. Well, Justin, we do wish you the best of luck with your teammate, Travis Browder. So make us proud, buddy, and good luck to you.
Thanks, Sean.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the 87 of Justin Michael headed down pit road this time by. As right now, going back up front, the pace car is crossing the start-finish line, and we just might be going 1 to green. Yep, we are now 1 to green right now. These guys starting to get bunched up double foul, as we're still being led by the 13 of Jean-Francois, the 66 of Charles Paradis, who is second place on the outside. Yeah, and status check on the 24 of Blevins and the 40 of Groskov. They still are down on pit road right now, still getting that damage fixed. That is very unfortunate for them, but luckily enough, it is a long race, so the pit crews are going to try their best to get those things back out on the track, even though they're going to have way less speed compared to everybody else.
Well, as long as they can at least get up there and hit the minimum speed there, Sean, I think they should be all right. As we know, they are racing for points, so every point does matter.
Oh, absolutely right, Dave. And at the same time, they will try their best to lead some laps. These drivers will try to lead some laps because they do get a bonus point for leading a lap as well. And right now, these guys getting bunched up nice on tire 21 of Trevor White is going to be pushing the 13 of Jeff Francois on the restart with the 27 of Danny Duchesne, pushing on the 66 of Charles Paradis on this restart. As we do exit turn for that 13 of Jean Francois, still holding pace with the 21 of Trevor White coming close to him. The pace was going to be ducking off. Pace car is off. As these guys get ever closer to each other. The 13 of Jean Francois puts it down at 66 of Charles Paris. Does see coming to another. Trevor White caught sleeping quite a bit. The 27 of Danny Duchesne on the outside as well. Was caught sleeping. Duchesne and the 7 of Pataska will fall back in line behind the 21 of Trevor White, as the whole pack behind was caught sleeping as well. Looking a little bit further back in the pack with the 14 of Paul D. Johnson trying to catch up to the 60 of Carlton Lane to start pushing with the 3 of Dale Robertson going to the outside of the 45 of Eddie Hawks to create the outside line. And so far they are on the move trying to overtake the 7 of Pataska and the 27 of Dan Duchesne on the bottom lane. And looking further back in the pack, we do have a lot of drivers breaking off, trying to create their own little pack. 654 of Punk getting around the 87 of Justin Michael to try and catch that lead pack. And the next closest car he has to draft with is the one of James O'Brien, last season's champion.
Yeah, most definitely here as we see these guys kind of riding around here towards the back of the field. I think their main goal is to avoid any incidents that maybe happen up in the front of the field there, trying to preserve their car, make it through the longer run here and get to the checkered flag.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. But the bad thing about that strategy is it has benefits if you do avoid the wrecks. But if those wrecks do not happen, that means you are going to be way behind the pack, and those green flag pit stops will even put you further back. That's a very risky move.
Well, I mean, the thing is if we have cautions, that's going to bring this building closer together there, Sean. So, I mean, anything is definitely possible, especially after watching the Daytona 500 that was live today. We've seen a lot of different drafting, so it should make for some great racing.
Oh, absolutely. Different strategies out there to try and outsmart their opponents. And right now, the one of O'Brien is hooked up, or at least trying to be hooked up with the 654 of Conquer. They are catching up to the 16 of Curtis out. They're going to get around him. Curtis out, heavy damage, not left side. Going back up front, we do have a battle for the race lead between the 45 of Eddie Hawks and the 13 of Jean Francois, who is in first place, leading the bottom lane. And the 45 of Eddie Hawks being pushed by the 3 of Dale Robertson with the help of the 27 of Danny Duchesne. And there we have some 3 wide on the outside line coming in with a huge train. That is from the 8 of Stephen Aguiar being pushed by the 5. Looks like that's the 5 of Jason Ashby. They are side by side of the 14 of Paul D. Johnson and the 60 of Carlton Lane. But so far they don't seem to have enough cars to make the outside line work. But it actually is working.
Yeah, it's a good thing here about Talladega. It's definitely wide enough to go 3-4 wide. As we are seeing, they are making a push here towards the front. As it looks like another car attempted to get up there and help, which would be the 11 of Massey. But he just got to get closed in and get on their back bumper. There's a good gap between Ashby Massey on that third lane, but it does look like that third lane is working as the 8 of Stephen Aguiar is going to get up there and go be door to door with the 45 of Eddie Hawks as they cross the start finish line.
And Dave, let's ride on the in-car of the 5 of Jason Ashby, just so we can see what it takes to be a good push on the outside line. And the 8 of Aguirre right now trying his best to side drop the best he can, as safe as he can, to avoid some bad net code there. The 5 of Jason Ashby to the rescue behind him. They are propelling. As the 5 of Jason Ashby is trying his best to peek on the left rear of the 8 of Aguirre to try and suck himself in. And so far he is doing a great job. The 8 of Aguiar side by side with the 3 of Robertson and the 66 of Charles Paradis. They are paddling for the 3rd place position. Oh, they're going to take the lap car forward. They make contact in the back and the caution does fly. Looks like the lap car might have been the 78 of Ronald McManus. Big wreck in turn 1. That was very, very unfortunate. Let's focus on the 78 of Ronald McManus on replay.
Well, as we pull up our Dre Broadcasting Network replay here, as you said, we are going to focus on the 78 of Ronald McManus here to see if we can see exactly what happened. Is it looks like he was in front of the field there as they were coming 3 wide. Yeah, it looks like they tried to take him 4 wide. He had nowhere to go to get out of the way, and that is going to see the 911 of John LeBluff is heavy damage. As a lot of cars are going to sustain a lot of damage from that.
Yeah, that was very, very unfortunate. By the looks of it, he was trying to exit pit road, ended up spinning his tires, which got him loose up onto the track. And before he knew it, the pack was behind him, and there was nothing he could have done. And that did cause quite the big wreck. Going back up front, we are being led by the 45 of Eddie Hawks, the 8 of Steven Aguiar, who are trying to catch the pace car. We are going to have a lot of drivers down pit road. Well, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, we are going to take our first commercial break so you guys can get some refreshments and some popcorn. I'll be right back, so stay tuned.
Don't let your first date be your last. Visit People Against Distracted Driving at PADD.org.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Big D's Transport 250 by Paul D. Johnson. And this is part of the Precision Racing League United Armed Services Oval Series by Dean Stone. Well, going back to the race, we have the 8 of Steven Aguiar still in the lead, with the 13 of Jean-Francois behind him in second place, the 45 of Eddie Hawks in third, the 5 of Jason Ashby in fourth, the 66 of Charles Paradis in fifth place. And unfortunately, after that incident, we just had the big one up front. It did force some drivers to retire for the night. That did involve the 60 of Cotton Lane, the 27 of Danny Duchesne, the 78 of Ronald McManus, and the 911 of John LaBeouf. That is very unfortunate. We do look forward to seeing those drivers again next week at Dover. And Dave, I was monitoring the whole entire field, and everybody had gone down pit road. So these guys do have the same amount of laps on their tires with full tanks of gas. So at the moment, that's going to change their fuel strategies.
Yeah, most definitely. We are on lap 14 of 95. So we've had 2 cautions already, 5 lead changes. Right now we are still being led by the 8 of Steven Aguiar with the 13 of Jean-Francois Champagne on the outside. Eddie Hawks is going to be starting in the 3rd position, with the 5 of Jason Ashby starting in the 4th spot.
And right now, Dave, taking a closer look at the 13 of Jean-Francois, he does have a little bit of damage on that left front of his, of the Chevy Camaro. So I'm not sure if that's going to affect him, but by the looks of it, it shouldn't affect him too much, because he does have some help from the 45, or will have some help from the 5 of Jason Ashby, who as well actually has a little bit of rear end damage in the right rear.
Well, they are now here on the backstretch, ready to go. Green flag racing here. Just taking a look, we have some big movers already. We have the 87 of Justin Michael, who started 19th, is currently running in 6th. The 18 of Travis Browder, currently running 7th, starting 20th. And I think our biggest mover of the night so far is going to be the 9 of Austin Moore, who qualified 29th, has made his way up into the top 10 in 9th spot.
Oh, that is very impressive. Not unfortunate, but impressive. So yeah, the more the race goes, the more we see those guys in the back going up to the front, like you pointed out. And also the 654 of Conquer starting in 23rd and is now being shown here in 13th place. Curtis Aho being shown in 11th place, but starting back there in 22nd place, gaining 11 spots this far, as these guys do enter turn for going green this time by. Dave, take it away.
Well, the pace car brings them out of turn number 4. Pace car is getting ready to dip down into pit road as he makes that hard left. The 8 of Aguiar keeps him at pace speed here as they are now coming through the dog leg, getting ready to go back green flag racing here on lap 16. Aguiar keeps him at pace speed. The green flag flies. He gets hard on that throttle. He's got the 45 of Eddie Hawks right on that back bumper, but here comes the 13. Jean-Francois Champagne and Jason Ashby, as they are making a move there on the outside as these cars are now starting to get up to speed.
The 87 of Justin Michael, 3rd place on the outside with the help of the 14 of Paul D. Johnson. That 66 of Charles Perez on the inside line, 3rd place behind the 45 of Eddie Hawks. Heavy damage throughout the car, or around the car. He does with the 18 of Travis Browder behind him, though, to help him keep up. So looking for the back of the pack, we have the 41 of Chris Perez, keeping a gap in between him and the 16 of Curtis Aho. Right now trying his best to stay out of trouble, and also the 654 of Conquer backing it off, or backing it down with the 1 of O'Brien. We have some more drivers falling a little bit further back on purpose. That's going to be the 10 of Lance Marsh. Oh, wow, some heavy damage. Also the 59 of David White. These guys pushing about 180 miles an hour on this race. And David's like we always talk about, these guys might be damaged, but they will try their best to always put on the most laps they can.
Well, Sean, going back up front, looks like we got a little three-wide action up here up front. The 18 of Travis Browner and Justin Michael move up into that middle lane, but it looks like that far outside lane is going to fall apart as the 66 of Broadus comes down into that middle lane. But they are having a hard time getting up to that back bumper to help the 87 of Justin Michael and the 18 of Travis Browner as they are trying to get around the 8 of Aguiar. And it looks like Travis Browner is going to lead that lap.
Oh yeah, Travis Browner takes the race lead here on lap number 19, leading his first lap of tonight's race. And that 5 of Jason Ashby behind the 13 of Jean-Francois, trying to get him up to the 6 of Charles Paradis to get him up to speed. So far, Charles Paradis does seem to be struggling because that damage is not too pretty at all. But good thing he has the 13 of Jean-Francois behind him with the 5 of Jason Ashby to increase that momentum.
Oh, it looks like Charles Paradis is going to drop Jean-Francois Champagne, drop down in front of the 16 of Curtis Arrow down in that bottom lane as we see the two Big D transport drivers. We're running bumper to bumper, but the 16 of Aho is going to stay up into that middle lane as he is now door to door with his teammate and making a move there on Charles Paradis.
Yep, that 13 of Jean-Francois helps the 16 of Curtis Aho propel past the 16 of Charles Paradis, but Charles Paradis coming back with a big run with the help of the 14 of Paul D. Johnson, but that gap in between them and the leaders does seem to increase quite a bit. And speaking of those leaders, we do have a battle for the race between the 18 of Travis Browner and the 87 of Justin Michael. Actually, they are clear of the bottom lane where the 18 is, but the 87 of Justin Michael isn't, as the 18 of Browner does drop down and gives the lead of the outside to the 87 of Justin Michael, his teammate. 87 of Justin Michael does have the 6 of Steven Mattox behind him to help him increase that momentum, help him keep up. We'll battle for that race in the 45 of Eddie Hawks, third place in the bottom lane behind the 8 of Steven Aguiar, trying to help the 18 of Browder maintain the lead.
Well, I mean, it's got to be nerve-wracking for these guys, 195 mile an hour plus bumper to bumper. And then just on the outside of them, they got a car running inches away, but they are definitely doing a good job of holding their line here as we are now on lap 20 with 75 laps remaining here at Talladega Supermotor Speedway.
And that 14 of Johnson does jump to the outside with the 66 of Charles Paradis, the 5 of Ashby behind them. By 14 of Johnson does down to 66 of Charles Paradis to leave him high and dry on the outside, and he moves forward back like a rock. Oh, he actually just gets in front of him, so that was pretty much a switch. Right now, Paul D. Johnson, big run, overtaking the 13 of Jean-Francois and the 9 of Austin Moore on the inside.
Well, we do know that 66 machine of Charles Paradis has got a little bit of damage, but it looks like Paul D. Johnson and Jason Ashby are going to be making a move up here to give some help to the 6 machine who just got dumped by the 87 of Justin Michael. But here comes that outside line. It looks like that outside line is running really fast tonight.
Oh yeah, that outside line is more bunched up on the bottom lane, but right now they do seem to be backing it down. The bottom lane, that is, they are getting spaced out, just going single file. So maybe, Dave, that's a hint that green flag pit stops might be on the way.
Well, these guys have only got about 9 laps on their tires. I don't think it's going to be time for green flag pit stops just yet. They will probably run anywhere between 20 to 30 laps, I would say, just as a rough estimate.
Oh, 10-4, and what gave, but going on the bottom lane, because that is usually the biggest hint of, because everyone's trying to lane to have the best position to pit in.